Looks like I'm back live. Cool. All right, guys, welcome to another game development stream. Um, I'm just gonna set up the restream on Watch Me Work. Alrighty, that should be set up and good to go now. Alrighty, guys, thanks again for joining me on this fabulous Tuesday. Um, Yesterday we finished off the shop systems, and today we will be getting into a little bit of uh, day cycling, time of day cycling, which should be pretty cool. I got a pretty good grasp on my method. It'll just be, can this execution work? Let's find out together. For anyone who's just joining in for the first time, this is not exactly a tutorial, but usually we figure out what we're trying to do. I'm just looking through my notebook here. Always good to have notes. Just with regards to how we want to set this up. We have our dynamic sky, and we have these exposed default variables. So the time of day is controlled via this float, and you're able to kind of beautifully transition your time of day, um, which should work perfectly. That's the variable I'm looking to adjust. Um, so I guess we'll just before we begin setting up the phases, I'm probably going to use an enumeration for that. Uh, Before that, let's get to, I'll pull up my chat. Um, Pop out my chat. Okay, there it is. This should work. Okay. Yes, so I have these a few tabs open. We have the game mode blueprint, which is where we handle our our shop inventories, mission tracking, story progression. We have our main character parent. Right now, I have a hotkey set on T. It just produces a print string reading day cycle. We have our blueprint for our dynamic sky. I don't necessarily think we'll need to mess around in here, to be honest. And we have the level blueprint for this development room. Um, we can probably delete the. Oh, I guess we'll just leave it there for now. Whatever. Um, so if we jump in here, what we get is our day cycle on my hotkey here. When I do this, when I hit that hotkey, I want to be able to bump time forward by about an hour. Um, what I really want to check for is, can we manipulate our... Why is my gameplay so choppy? Anyways, yeah, we're just trying to see if we can... I'll delete these actors. We actually don't need them. And then it annoys me when I click on them, and then I have a camera view here. Right, so what we want to do here is, from our game... from our main character, we're executing our event, and we want to adjust the time of day, like the cycle that is determining the day's position, or the hour, let's say. That we want to adjust in the game mode. So what I want to do here is cast to game mode, grab our game mode, and get game mode. If I can type. So that should work fine. Now we just don't know, we have nothing to grab or control. But we can save our main character and compile that anyways. So just getting paired with paired with other streamers on Watch Me Work. Oh, sorry for that feedback, guys. Sorry. Um, I don't know. In any case, let's continue over here. Uh, I should have compiled this earlier. Might be. Just gonna look at my notes while we compile. Hmm. Okay. So what I'm thinking of as in regards to a method, we can't actually cast to our level blueprint and access the objects inside of it um, through that reference. We kind of have to cast to an in-world actor. But what I'm thinking of doing is, and I'm curious to see if this will work, would we be able to basically on event play cast to game mode? Yeah, I did game mode class. And basically create a reference as soon as we begin play, as we enter the level. What I want to do is set up a reference to our sky in the level on our game mode. So from here, yeah, I don't think we'll need this. From our development room A, yeah, we'll cast to game mode, get game mode, just like we did before. And we need a reference to this. So on our game mode, we need a variable rather. So on our game mode, let's just, the easiest way to create a variable with a specific actor you want, so just do a cast to ultra, there we go. And what we want to do is just promote this to a variable. Now, inside of our, what's up with my music? Why it stopped? Weird. Yeah, I'll just call it sky reference. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. And we can delete both of those off our graph and save and compile. What we want to do is just create a reference of that actor type. And from here, we should be able to set sky reference. And I think, actually, we have to get dynamic material. We actually want to get a reference to our sky. So to do that, we have to click on our sky, so the actor is selected, and then inside our development room, we should be able to right-click and create a reference to this. And I think, oh, it works. Beautiful. Okay. And that's exactly what we want. As soon as we enter the level, we tell our game mode that, hey, this is our sky reference we want to control or adjust. Now then, from here, we can go to our game mode and how do you do this? Get our sky reference, and we should be able to access the variables within. I wanna say so we can go time of day, and look at that. We can get and set it beautifully. Set time. Whoopsie. Set time of day. Oh no. This is like an autocorrect moment. What's going on here? Set time of day. Cool. And basically, we want to take whatever this is, whatever the existing time is, and increase it by probably 100, seeing as it works kind of like in army time. Okay, so let's And now that we have that set up, let's save and compile. One thing I do want to do is set the sky to not change over time, which it does by default. Kind of want to lock that into a change sort of only when the game requires it to. Whenever we want to cycle our the day phase, so to speak, that's when we want the only time we want the sky, the time of day to change. We can have cloud movement and all that kind of stuff, which can all be controlled to a greater degree. We can create those kind of parameters if we need. But I think we want day length, and I believe if we set this to 0, it doesn't change at all. All right, let's save. And let's get in here and see if we can control the sky. Yeah, it looks like it's working. Pretty cool. You know, we're controlling our day phase. Pretty neat. Pretty neat. Okay, that was actually, I didn't think it would work so easily, but I guess that's a good thing. So this is basically the logic we're going to be using right here. The only thing is, on every level in every level that has a sky where we need to adjust for the time of day, we would to make sure we have this sort of instruction on the level blueprint. But that's pretty cool. So let's we probably can break this out of here and make a custom function for toggling our time of day. But what I want to do first is create an enumerator based on my notes here for our day cycles. And I'll do that inside of I'll do that actually inside of our general folder. So I'll keep the enumerator beside the game mode. So you're gonna right click, choose enumeration, and we'll call this or e underscore day phases. Yeah, day phase should be cool. Okay, and I believe looking here, we need 5 phases. The first one will be pretty simple. Oh, let me see if I can type properly. Early morning. Hey, Julio. Thanks for tuning in, man. How's it going? How's your Tuesday? Midday on a Tuesday. Oh, this will be daytime. This is going to be afternoon. And you can probably imagine evening and night time. Is that one word or two? I'm going to quickly determine what that is. It bothers me when I... It's one word. Oh, Jesus. That looks weird. I'm just gonna make it day and night. So now we have that built in. we should just be able to basically, yeah, we'll create our custom function in our game mode blueprint and call it day phase cycle. Probably that sounds pretty good. Um, oh, got some social media updates. I'm just going to retweet this. Sorry, guys. I guess it's important, kind of build our community a little bit more. Um, so quickly, I will say streaming some Unreal Engine 4 game dev. Oh, gee. Okay, that should suffice. Kind of bad at this whole social media thing. Anyways, my bad, guys. My bad. Okay, my attention is fully back on stream. What we want to do here is basically we want to get a switch, and we want to do it on right here, day phase. Perfect. And then depending on what our selection is, early morning, daytime, afternoon, evening, we would let's create input for that selection. We can call it something like uh, desired day phase. And from here, we can just grab this bit of code, copy and paste this. Whoops. Hey, Christian. Thanks for stopping by. Hope your Tuesday is going well. Target self, we actually just want target to be our sky reference actor. Um, and we don't want to actually increase this like that. I have in my notes here specified values for the time of day of each phase. So we could just, oh gosh, okay. Um, excuse me. You know what? Actually, this is kind of incorrect here. Um, this works for changing to a specific phase, so we probably could create a duplicate of this function as backup. Um, but for cycling through our day like we want to, we actually need to create an enumerator for that. And basically day phase, like what is it? And we're just going to set up the enumeration. Christian asks, how many dollars will your game cost if it's finished? Um, the exact number is kind of to be determined. We're thinking about, I don't know, like ballpark, like 1999 maybe. Somewhere between like 1999 and like $20 and $30, I guess, is a rough estimate. To be honest, like we still have the numbers to like calculate and run to determine what that is, but that's what we're thinking. Anyways, for the day phase, we want our e underscore day phase, and basically our day phase by default is, yeah, early morning is fine. Um, depending on the phase, we would have different outputs, like so. So let's just connect these up. Nothing too fancy. I'm actually surprised we got the time of day to work that easily. Anyways, let's hook these up. Hook these up like so. Beautiful. And look at my notes here. Now I got this glass desk, and it's cool, but the drawer slide for the keyboard doesn't come out all the way. And it was fine because the desk is glass and you can kind of see through it. But when I place books and stuff, kind of not that ideal. Can't see my keyboard. So these are, kind of, these numbers are to be fine-tuned. I actually wrote them in my notebook, like like away from the game engine. Like I wasn't cross-referencing how these numbers would look. Yeah. So if we want to, here's something interesting. Can we cycle an enumerator to the next one? If we set day phase, do something like this. So the idea being that we cycle to the next position. Um, well, you know what? I guess the easiest way to do that would be to just make use of another one of these, um, wherein we kill whatever, if it's, oh, why didn't I duplicate more? Okay, this is probably the easiest way to do it. And if it's early morning, we want to cycle to the next one. So if it's daytime, it'd be afternoon. If it's afternoon, it would cycle to evening. And if it's evening, it would cycle to nighttime. And if it's nighttime and we call this function, we want to cycle to early morning again. And I actually want to get a print string here. Print string, and we will route everything into here. Just like that. And I actually want to append this. And can the enumerator hook up into a string? Beautiful. Okay. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Why? Why would you do that to me? Okay. And the idea with this is we can get something like day cycle is and equals. So we'll compile, save the game. Okay, it is saved in our character where we call the event. We don't want to just bump this up by an hour anymore. We actually want to call our event day cycle. And now we should just be able to freely toggle between the states of our game's day. Um, the character parent always takes a bit longer to compile. But there we go. So if we hit T, day cycle equals day, afternoon, evening, night, early morning. Cool. That is pretty neat. the sky moving? Oh, it is moving, right? Yeah, it's moving. It's just so slow. Oh, that's cool. Whatever. So now that that works, actually, I'll just show you guys something real quick. Um, so while we were working on other menus and things, you may have noticed that in our start menu, we actually have a readout here for, the day count and the phase of the day you're on. So what I want to do is, now that we have an enumerator for that, we can actually pull that text the same way our print string does. So for example, if we want to set that up right now, we would go to the status menu, or sorry, let's go to the root, the top. Let's go to the pause menu and uncheck this, or sorry, check this out. And yeah, here's our widget. By default, the colors are all random. Um, so we have our day number and we have our phase. I don't think we need phase and then the phase we're on right beside it. We probably would be just fine to have the word of whatever phase you're at. So let's set this to, or not, you don't have to make it a, we don't have to bind it to a function. We can just create a variable and call this day phase, but this is going to be a text variable. And similar to our day count, we will set it right here when we cast a game mode. So right here we can get day phase. On our game mode, it's an enumerator. But here, all we need is text. And we'll set it like so. What's up with my mouse? Maybe it's time to get a new mouse. Okay, so yeah, enumeration variable cannot connect to the day phase variable, which is text. But what we can do is convert it to a string. Strings are great. Like, I feel like almost every variable is able to convert to a string, and then you can set it to a text or a name or whatever your desire is. Um, Anywho, that should be all that's required. We just have to set this to the day phase. And there we go. Day 1, it's early morning. How neat is that? Yeah, pretty cool. Another thing we could set up here is basically our value in terms of our day counter. So looking at our game mode, we have this main variable which we call to cycle time, and we'll have this backup one, set desired day phase. Um, Perhaps maybe in certain situations, based on plot events, we may need to force time to a certain phase that may not be the next most immediate one. Um, that was my thinking when we had this, where we could select a specified. We have an input. But anyways, we can close that. It's kind of like a temporary function. We know this works, so we don't need a print string anymore. What I do want to add here, though, is our day counter, and maybe we can create a category for these types of variables. Perhaps it could be referred to as, day handlers. Yeah, that's fine. We can put our day count in there, our day phase, our skybox reference. It's useful to have these categories. And inside of here, yeah, we want to adjust our day count, but we only want to adjust it. And we would only increment it too. So you could do a check, like a branch, but actually it should only increase if we cycle to early morning, right? So basically, it should only be called on this execution path. And yeah, early morning is 7:30. So let's compile our game mode, save that, and currently by default time of day is 7:30. So let's make that a in line with what's going on here. Actually, all we have to do is we can leave it at default. On our level blueprint on begin play, what we should also do is, yeah, we set this reference. But then we need a way to go from, because as we go from level to level, all the settings are kind of going to be at their default unless specified to change, which is why we reference to the game mode. So what we could do is, actually, we're going to leverage that, we're going to leverage this set desired day phase right now, because we want to be able to set the time of day without, increasing our day count or increasing our, without cycling our sky or our day's phase. We want to be able to set the sky state, so to speak. Oh, Kazil says, please donate to me on PayPal. Dude, please donate to me on PayPal. I have no money. I quit my job for this, man. So I don't have money to donate to you, unfortunately. Maybe if people buy my game and I have lots of money, well, if I have any money, rather, then I can donate to you on PayPal. Oh, thanks, Groundbreak Games. Yeah, hopefully this can help other people set up their setup. It's pretty basic. It's not it's not real time, so to speak. But it works for what we're trying to do. Right, set phase cycle. We want to set desired, and all we want to do is basically set. We just want this. And we can also delete that reference. Sure. Save and compile. So by default, our day phase is set to early morning, and we want to make sure that as soon as we enter our level, sorry for hopping through all this, it's kind of confusing. We want to make sure we set desired day phase, and that name is a little misleading. We're going to compile here, but on the game mode, let's rename that before we forget. We're going to call this set to current day cycle. And this should work. Oh, I've been there, man. Yeah. Video card can't handle UE4. The video cards can get pretty expensive, especially if you go high end. But like my computer is my desktop here. I think I built it. It's pretty old now. I think I built it in 2011. But when I built it, I went pretty pretty off the deep end. It wasn't the most advanced thing you could get at the time, but it was pretty like powerful. Um, Still couldn't play Crisis 1 though on max settings. Okay, let's hop in here. So immediately, when we play, the sky should automatically change to early morning if everything's working correctly. Yep, and there it is. Beautiful, beautiful early morning. And we can cycle that through to our day. So afternoon, evening, and night. Pretty neat. What video card must I have for minimum UE4 requirements? That is an excellent question. Um, I would I would honestly say, like off the top of my head, I don't know. You should probably check the Unreal Engine website, the Epic Games website. I'm sure that's like in the frequently asked questions. Um, but I would say as a loose bar or measure, generally speaking, if your video card can play games, you should be more than adequate to develop uh, as well. What video card do you have, Kazel? You know what? Like, I'm not the most tech savvy in terms of hardware. I actually had a good friend build my PC for me at the time. I kind of just saved up my money back in the day working at a shop. I saved up my money and kind of just let him build it for me, and he's really into like the hobby of building computers. So he was pretty happy to do it. Actually, there's one thing we didn't check. I want to check that our day phase is cycling correctly. So if we hit T, and now it's a new morning, right? We should have day two, perfect early morning, right? Phase a little bit more. It's like, oh, it's afternoon time. Um, Basically, it's tracking our days, which is cool, which is super cool. Um, so now what I would like to do is something kind of cooler. I don't like the sudden like jump. Oh, now it's daytime now, or like now it's afternoon, now it's evening. What I want to do is have like a sped up kind of like fast forward effect. Um, so what I'm thinking of using is a timeline, but if I recall correctly, I don't think we need our game mode blueprint open anymore either, or our level blueprint. Sorry, we do need our game mode blueprint. Sorry, if I recall correctly, our day phase, like our function rather, we can't have timelines in a function. Unreal doesn't like it. Yeah, we have no timeline can exist here, which means, unfortunately, we're gonna have to move this to our event graph. These mission updates and side quest updates, these actually should be in functions. Um, it's kind of indifferent at the moment, but anyways, the easiest way to duplicate that over would be to just grab the desire function, which is day phase cycle. And what we want to do here is simply we want to expand this node. Right click under organization, expand node, and boom, kind of like blows up. It's usually down below somewhere. Oh wait, it's right on top of all my other work. Beautiful. Okay, let's pull that here, and well, we have the data save. We can delete the function. Oops, delete that. Um, and go back to our event graph, and let's set a custom event and call it day phase cycle. Now it should The custom event and the function, I believe those references should be almost converted on our main character. Let's just take a look. Or is it broken? It's still called a custom event if you look at it. It should be fine. Sorry. Yeah, so day cycling is working fine. So now what I want to do here is we have our desired value. But what if I told you we could make this look cooler? Timeline. Let's add a timeline and call it uh, cycle transition. That sounds all right. Play from start. Yes, we always want to play from start. Um, I believe that is what we want to be doing every time. We have direction. It's always going to be playing forward. If we hop in here, let's create a float track because we are adjusting a float, and we don't need it to be that long. I'm thinking something pretty snappy. I mean, we can adjust this, but let's put at a half second. And we'll add a float, set the 0 and 0 and 1 and 1. Oh, whoops, no, 0.5. Oh, no, my mistake. Okay, yeah, the time is 0.5. And what I want to do is create some pretty harsh, well, we can auto curve it, I guess, and then it will ease in and ease out fairly nicely. So save, compile that, and we probably should rename it. I'm gonna just call it driver. We can close our timeline. So now we'll close the functions we're not working with. Right, 75. Oh yeah, Kazel. I don't know. What to do. Gonna have to find some way to make some money and build yourself some hardware so that you can get to developing. Okay, so we have our day phase here. What we want to do is, I'm gonna move this over because I have a feeling, I have a hunch. Set time of day. This is what we want to be. Actually, let me reorganize. This is going to be a little different. So this case did work for our quick adjustments, kind of like that idea of set to current day cycle, where we want an immediate change. But for a bit something that has a bit of a transition, we're gonna need to update that over the course of this curve, or sorry, over the course of this timeline. And we're gonna have to use a lerp. And the alpha will be our driver, which will work perfectly, but determining our A and our B is going to actually be determined on our day cycle. So what we can make use of here is some select floats. So if we do something like this, select, we can actually, in a super cool way, we can actually use our enumerator into the selection. So we can assign our start time and our end time for our A and B values, depending, like dynamically driven by our day phase. And we're going to need two of these. One for our, start position and end position. The lerp goes from, if you read here, we linearly interpolate between A and B based on our alpha, where A is 0 and B is 1, which is, that's the exact reason why our driver uses a value of 1 to 0. Okay. From here, let's hook this up as well. Oh, Jesus. And, on finished, we're going to route up here. Excuse me. For how to breathe, I guess. Okay, so these are our time slots, basically. A little confusing. We're going to delete this shortly. I just want this here so I can kind of copy and paste. Um, Oh, this should work fine. This should work fine. Sorry, dude. I don't have money I can just donate to you, unfortunately. However, if anyone else in the comments wants to donate to Kazel to get a computer part so he can develop, his information's here. But what kind of game are you looking to develop? Like, what, do you have a special project in mind, or yeah? So if our day phase is, let's think about this. If our day phase is early morning, our start position. Okay, so these are our end positions, actually, right? It's a little different. It's going to have to be a little bit different here. We don't want to set this before. We want to set it after. In this case, because we are adjusting the uh, position in real time based on what's coming in. What we're gonna do is probably do something like this, but not cycle these in. Whoops, did not mean to double click. Um, we don't want to put all these back. Oh my gosh, my mouse is killing me. Please donate me a new mouse. Okay. Yeah, this will work here, and then we will grab our day counter and adjust to the fact, which is cool. Super cool. The idea is our start times and end times. End times. Um, and if we're in the nighttime phase, we want to be ending at daytime. That makes sense, right? Am I entering these right? Starting here, ending here. Um, this variable, we'll just play it by ear for now. Sorry, if we're on, what was this? This is afternoon. Okay, let's test this out. Excuse me. Let us test this out. Man, words are hard. Okay. Um. So we got like a kind of snappy transition sometimes. It worked that first time though. You know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to pull this out and debug against a game mode blueprint. If you guys can sit tight. And I'll see what's going on here. Okay, I see what's happening. It's actually working perfectly, but we want to play from start every time. So if we save, compile, jump back to our game mode, we have a kind of smooth transition, which I personally like a lot more. We could actually make this effect a little nicer. What we want to also do is change the cloud's position, so we can get pretty dynamic with this. But I think, how does that feel? You know, a half second? It's not bad. So what variable would control the cloud's cloud speed? Is this on real time? Yeah, we are. Okay, so if we make cloud speed something kind of like really fast, we get this this effect, right? Max is 3. Can we increase this to something crazy beyond its limit? Okay, we can. So that alone, we could just bump that up during the start of our transition, drop it back down, and it could be pretty cool. What else do we have here? We have cloud phase, opacity, wisps. Yeah, let's just use cloud speed. That's usually associated with what are those types of videos where it's like a time lapse photography. Yeah, you usually see a lot of cloud movement, right? So we don't need these anymore. Let's clean up our graph a little bit. Um, and I guess we can move this up. Like, why is it so far below? It's kind of bizarre. Like you go into the graph and not know it's there. Align this up kind of neat-like. Pretty cool. Okay, so we have our sky time. What we probably want to do is set cloud speed. And by default, what's the default value for it actually? 0.05? It's like super slow. We could like 0.1. Whatever. We'll put it at, we'll toggle it from, basically at the beginning of this event, we can set this to something kind of aggressive, like 30, and set it back to 0.1 after it's done here. We are, however, going to need a target, and that target will be our skybox actor reference. Something else I'd like to explore. I was reading some of the documentation that came with Unreal 4.1, or sorry, 4.15, and was looking at 4.15, 4.15, sorry. And what I was looking at was these kinds of variable types, these new variable types that were added. I think they were in the experimental category before, but just for example, if we have a float, and let's call this sky time, right? So we have a variable for sky time. The idea being that we could sort of, instead of using a select, we could just socket in sky time, and then it would be set based on this, but then that kind of creates the same situation, which is sorry. So that's the problem we're looking at. But what I was curious about was this sort of op other types, these sets and maps. And I don't think a set would work for this case, but perhaps a map might. I'm going to delete this so I don't get prompt. So let's change this to a map. And we're mapping it. Can we map it? Here's my question. Can we map this by an enumerator? E underscore day phase. This might be something cool. Actually, I love the icon. It looks so cool. I'm such a dork. Just getting excited about new variable icons. Anyways, from here, I believe we should be able to. Oh no, map floats is not compatible with enums. Interesting. Right. So these have to be used with kind of like gets or sets. No. There's a certain certain functions here that we want to use, and I believe it would be based on a find, not a find. Length values, we get an array of the different day positions. Not exactly what I want. Let's compile this just to fully see what we're working with. I'm sort of experimenting here. I hope you guys don't mind. I haven't really worked with these new types of variables before. Um, so this is sort of what I was looking for. In theory, we would be able to assign a time, like, 7:30, and we have it paired with an element for early morning. And then we can create another one for, daytime, right? Um, and with this sort of almost like an array, but it's cross-referencing other data. Um, keys? Okay. So keys and values is the same thing. So the values appears to be, uh, these are our values and these are our keys. I wonder if it should be the opposite. Should our enumerator be a map? That's a good question. Does that make things better or worse? I mean, this works. You know what? I'll do this experimental stuff off stream. I don't want to waste your guys' time with it. I'll leave that there for now. In the meantime, I will grab our day phase and plug it up here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we could clean this up with a map. And even this too. Let's see here. So we hit T. Oh, it just goes on forever. How weird. Um, so dramatic. Um, of course. Of course. I'm just gonna exit play. Go to a game mode, and yeah, this should be set on everything. Everything should run into this, obviously. We want to stop that. Except for this would bump our counter up by one, and then it would route inside. Whoops. See, what's weird? What's weird is like the sky is always cycling to that same like spot. It's tripping me out actually. Like it doesn't stop based on where. the clouds are, it kind of like resets, which is weird. Um, there must be something controlling that we can adjust. Um, you know, if we go 0.1 or if we type in 30 here, yeah. So what's the deal? What's the deal with that? These clouds always in the same spot. Hmm. Cloud phase. A time offset for the clouds, good for getting a good formation when working with a speed of 0. Interesting. Okay, let's set this back to our desired amount. Aren't those wisps? Are they wisps? No, wisps are like some background thing. Kind of, kind of disgusting. I don't know. It's like cobwebs. It's gross. Anyways, I think maybe we want to work with our cloud phase. Oh Jesus. Okay, so this is a little dynamic, it seems. Let's put the cloud phase to 0. It's not moving, right? I can't tell. Can't tell if it's barely moving or if it is moving. It shouldn't be anyways. So if we go to our cloud phase, we should be able to kind of play with this value. Yeah, this is kind of what we want. I think, yeah, let's try adjusting that value. I think the speed, um, the whole deal is like this sky is like very complex, and it's all done through a very, very complex dynamic material with masks and channels and all sorts of stuff. Um, so speed may not be manipulating it in the sense that phase is, even though they would appear to do the same thing. Actually, I might be wrong here. Hmm. Let's see what we can do here. I wonder if we can interpolate the cloud phase as well, so that we kind of transition to that kind of state. Let's get a cloud phase as well. Is there a page to look up what this game is about? Yeah, you could check our website or our IndieDB page as well. Game's called Project Grand Vault, and yeah, these are just development streams. We're not really explaining what the game's about as a whole, but there are some interesting there is some interesting info on our IndieDB page. I can actually link that in chat. Let's see here. Yeah, here you go. Already Googling. Too quick. Let's see here. We want to set this as well. Set cloud phase, and I think we could